It's as if there is a kind of unwritten rule. Yeah, it's as if they've all agreed to it themselves and just said, look, we're not going to actually say anything. We're not even going to give like Celtic fans the mouthpiece or the voice that we have, and it's quite a vocal voice. And we'll talk about this Sunday Herald advert in a little minute as well. But it is, I mean, it's as if they just brush it along. I think I read something by Andrew Smith, so that would have been the Scotsman he writes in. But he came out and his article was absolute nonsense. I thought he was actually tying himself up in knots, but he was basically saying, "Come on, Celtic fans, you know fine well that it's the same Rangers." And then he was trying to come up with some of these examples, and then you're thinking, mate, you're tongue tying yourself here. You're being a bit hypocritical the way you're even coming across in the whole article.
The thing is,
it was just farcical.
It's the story. It's the way they framed it. Like, if you listen to Radio Clyde, you listen to Radio Scotland, any sort of phone in, right?
Yeah.
Now, to his credit, the one exception to this, I think, is Stuart Cosgrove. He's always maintained that the Huns did die, and he's not backed down for that in spite of the threats that he's got. So, fair play to him. But, you know, the thing is that anybody who even questions the narrative that the Huns are still the same club, they are basically humiliated and insulted.
Yeah.
Right directly. So, you know, basically, you're a fucking idiot for even thinking that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and also they try to play this, you know, you have Hugh Keeves going about, oh yeah, the internet ban pots. And I mean, that clown's never even fucking used it in Twitter in his life. How would he know? Right? Probably can't even spell Twitter, the half-wit. But anyway, he's going on about, oh yeah, these internet. And the way he's framing it, if you didn't know, you'd think it was like 2 or 3 people on an internet chat room sitting trolling each other. You know, that's what you would think it was. Yeah. But the reality is, you know, I've spoken to fans of Dundee United, Aberdeen, Partick Thistle, Clyde, clubs all across Scotland. Yes, and they're all, the fucking Rangers died. You know, they couldn't pay their debts and they died. This is not just like a few embittered Celtic fans with some agenda. This is what the majority of football fans, in fact, I'd say basically almost everybody in Scotland who's not a Hun accepts that Rangers died.
Yeah. And
the fact that that's the media are not just they're not just pissing off Celtic fans, they're pissing off everybody with this attitude. And you know, you think the record, I mean the Daily Record in particular, their circulation's been in free fall for the last 3 years. And that's why. It's because people just, I mean, there's a political aspect to it as well, the fact that they basically kissed the British government's arse running up to the referendum, but we won't go into that. Yeah. But then there's also the sporting agenda and the fact that they are basically just the PR rag for Sevco.
Yeah.
And the Record in particular pisses me off because now I won't name names, but if this person's listening, he knows who he is. There's a Daily Record journalist who I actually used to go to college with, and in his college days you wouldn't meet a bigger Tim. Home and away every game he was there, and now he's become a total fucking sellout in the way he's towing the party line that Rangers are still the same club, and you know, it's quite pathetic, really, for a man at his stature.
Would it be more than his job's worth with the Daily Record if he were to go any other way?
Probably, and that's probably why. I mean, I'm not particularly. I can't really blame him for doing what he's doing, but it's disappointing.
It's shit to see when it's one of your own and they can do that. It's pretty shit to see.
And I'm sure he's not the only one. You know, I only know that one guy who I know is a Tim, and who's saying all this shit. There's probably plenty of others as well. And it's sad that, I mean, for all the Huns are dead, their benefactors are still in positions of power in Scotland, and that is something that's an ongoing problem.
It's interesting though, because you made a point there, Liam, and I'm going to ask you now, Pat. It does seem to be, again, even though Liam said there's fans from all these other clubs feel the exact same way, but yet again it seems to be they're quite happy to sit back in the background, and it's always just the more vocal Celtic internet ban pots, and people like ourselves as well, I suppose, that bother doing these podcasts and things like that, that are heard, I suppose, or put it out there. Are the fans of the other clubs quite happy to sit back and just let us do it all? or do we think that they should be a little bit more vocal when some of the other clubs are a bit more vocal? Because at the time when the vote was happening, when the SFA were trying to shoehorn the resurrected club straight back into the SPL, the great thing at that time was that the other clubs and their fans were very, very vocal. But they seem to have taken a back seat again, or certainly that's my opinion. Have you got a different view, Pat?
I just think people are a bit bored with it. I think that's my whole take on it. And I'll be honest with you, when it first all kind of happened way back then, yeah, I was obviously, sort of promoting that whole sort of, new club thing. And, whenever you meet somebody, and in fact, I had a chat with someone last week about the whole thing, and they'd seen the advert.
Yes.
In the Sunday Herald and stuff, and they were asking, look, what's this all about? What I don't kind of get it. And I was trying to explain to them, kind of what happened. And the way I put it was, so you're a plumber and you've got a van, you've got all your tools, and you get liquidated, and I buy your van and I buy all your tools. Does that make me you and your company? Well, of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
And he's gone, but I don't kind of get it. I don't understand the whole the idea of why they took this advert.
The significance of it.
Yeah, and I just said, like, saying truth, that the way I look at it is, it's just bragging rights. It's just another thing to annoy them about, and them to annoy us about. They can say it as much as they want. They're never going to convince me, and they're not going to convince probably 99% of Celtic fans that they are a new club. And it's literally from this day forward, it's going to be bragging rights. We're going to say one thing, they're going to say another, and that's the way it's going to be. It's just we're never going to sort of meet anywhere in the middle. So I'll be totally blunt with you, I'm a bit bored with it now. It doesn't bother. When I saw and read the advert, because I think I'd sort of posted about a week or so before. I think CQN had posted something saying if you want a copy of the Sunday Herald, you had to order it in advance. And around that time, certainly in our supporters club Facebook thing, someone had posted a picture. No, actually it was me. Someone's posted it somewhere, and I'd shared it out. It might have been Jim Kinlan actually, up in Sydney. And I think what I did is I shared it out with the guys in our club, and I read through it, and I didn't really get the point of it. I can get the whole thing of they tried to raise a debate, but what was the whole conclusion of it? What were they trying to achieve by posting that ad? I don't get me wrong. I don't think it's anything to do with this whole trying to incite any sort of riots and stuff like that for the game on Sunday. That's just complete bullshit. But I didn't quite again kind of get the point, and I hadn't read it since. I mean, I should probably go back and read it, but it's just it made as much sense as you've probably seen it on Twitter over the past sort of week or so, the statement that Celtic made, and it's literally just stating fact. So just state the facts and let people make up their own mind. Rangers supporters, and I don't think for a second that every Rangers supporter thinks that they are the same club. I'm fairly certain there'll be a fair percentage of them that see them as well,
some of the very high profile supporters or former directors, former players they've been out, and it's been quoted, and they've been saying themselves that they don't see it as being the same club. So you're right, there will be more than that, but I think you're spot on, no, Pat. It's the he says she says thing. If we say black, they say white, and vice versa, and it's always going to be like that.
I think in this case, the good thing is that you've got teams like Hearts and stuff like that just completely on board with this whole thing. You let your club die stuff. But I think that's hilarious, and it's it's not just Hearts. You're talking like smaller clubs have been doing the same sort of thing. The banners and stuff like they put up there, and what was it?
And match programs. Did Livingston not get threats and stuff like that as well? Because they had something in their match program about it being a new club, and I think there's been other teams as well. Wraith Rovers again. Yeah,
and it's pure bragging rights. It's just something to annoy them about. I'm just a bit bored with it. There's a couple of little. So I've mentioned on here before that there's London South East, like an LSE thing. If you put in a search for LSE and Sevco, and I think it was in Google, it comes up with like a forum thing. So it's London South East, but it's all meant to be about share prices and stuff. And I used to read this pretty much religiously every single day, because I know this whole thing about being obsessed Celtic fans, but I'll be honest with you, I love them suffering. I don't hide the fact. I think it's brilliant. It's just, I still check out, Phil McGillivan's, his blog and stuff like that to see if there's anything new each day and stuff. And I just revel in it. It doesn't impact me. It doesn't bother me if something good or bad happens to him. It's just, having gone through all the stuff, the whole 9 in a row stuff, which, I came to Australia right at the very. I basically came here about 3-4 months before we stopped the whole 10 in a row stuff. So I lived through that stuff, and then I'd left uni and I was working in Clydebank, and Clydebank was a lot of Rangers fans, a lot of Celtic fans, and it was torture. So for me, it's just they got their comeuppance,
Yeah, absolutely.
They did wrong, and I might even ask you guys this question. I remember my brother from the US was here on passing through for work a month or so ago, and we had this sort of chat one night, and we're just sort of laughing, but what's happened, and he says, and again, you can comment, this could go on all night if we talk about it right enough, but he said, what do you think will happen, and what do you think, what would you like to happen with the whole Rangers thing? Do you think they'll go bust? Would you like them to go bust, and that sort of thing? And it was one of those, do you know what, do I want them to go bust, or do I just want to see them still there? It's still there, but suffering. Yeah. And it's just one of those, I don't know, that's a tricky one, I don't know.
Well, while they're going through their suffering, though, these kind of rumours and arguments still continue on about that. Are they dead? Are they the same club? Are they a different club? All of that, it still continues. So I would honestly not give a monk. I know there'll be a lot would say, oh no, we need the. It's part of being a Celtic fan, that whole rivalry thing, but I could live without them, without a shadow of a doubt. I think it's easier to say when you're living half the world away, of course, as well. It's but I haven't missed them since they died. Like you, Pat, I've enjoyed the suffering of the Sefco farce as well, right throughout the whole Craigie White stuff, the Charlie Green stuff. In fact, I had an idea we should do an interview with Charlie Chuckles Green one day. I think we should get that sorted. We'll speak offline about that, but we might try and arrange something with Chuckles. But
how are you going to arrange that one?
As I said, I'll speak to you offline. I've got some contacts. But yes, watch this space. But yeah, it's
exclusive. That's fantastic. Now you've got me excited. There you go.
Oh, don't get too excited, Pat. Don't get too excited.
Even a quote. See if you can get. What you try and do is get one of those little sort of voiceovers. Hi there, my name's Charlie Green, and you're listening to half the world away from Hail Media.
Oh, I'm sure we could get him to say that. Maybe even before the end of this show's out. If I get in touch with my contacts, we'll see. But no, you've put me off. What was I saying? I can't remember. Oh yeah, no, just the whole debacle has been great to watch from afar, because I think I've said this before as well. The beauty of and this will be no different from yourself up in Japan as well, of course, Liam. But when we're not back home, you're not saturated by the coverage. It's quite easy to avoid stories if you wish, but it's also very, very easy to dip in and out as you so wish. And it is. I think that's something that I really just enjoy doing now as well. It's there for me if I want it, but you know what? See if I want to just ignore it or I'm fed up with it, you can completely ignore it, and the news is on the telly and it's not getting rammed down your throat about this, that, and the next thing, and things to annoy you. So it is quite refreshing having that when you're far removed from the day in, day out goldfish bowl, as they describe it back home. But from our perspective, all enjoy them. From
our perspective, in this, being this far away, I think, and I'm not that I'm endorsing them sort of getting straight back into the Premier League or anything like that, but I do still miss the big nights. But it's more the big nights with your mates. This one for Sunday. There's been we could end up with 20 guys there. We could end up with 250 guys there. We've got no idea what the sort of turnout's going to be, and I was chatting to a guy at work today about it, and it was just what's the plans and stuff, and you're looking forward to it, whatever. And I think I'm looking forward more to the occasion than the actual game. sort of
Yeah.
meeting up with good friends of Filenzo, good friend of you and yours
Yes.
and mine, and guys I
Yeah.
haven't seen for a while.
Yep.
Guys